Hi, this is Tony Ning, and welcome back to another episode of Secrets to Passive Income and Financial Freedom. This is episode 9, and today we are going to talk about the secrets why you should use a real estate agent or realtor for purchasing a home. A lot of buyers tend to do all the research on their own. They use the internet online searches, newspapers, flyers. They're going to open houses and drive through neighborhoods looking for sale signs. And the question is, why not call an agent? Well, the biggest reason that most buyers rather not call an agent is because they feel that an agent will lock them into a buyer agency agreement and then they're committed to that agent whether they like him or her or not. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. I have personally seen this many times where agents do or don't tend to their clients once the buyer agency has been signed. The agents in these situations want to earn a commission without doing the work. This makes buyers hesitant to commit themselves to any agents they don't know and trust. And quite frankly, I don't blame them, because these agents give the industry a bad name. But you know what? There are so many more professional, ethical, and trustworthy agents out there that don't deserve to be lumped into this category. So the question is, why do you want to use a trustworthy agent? Well, for one, a trustworthy agent has access to a better database for homes that are for sale. And plus, they have access to exclusive listings and listings that don't have lawn signs or any advertising. Let me show you our database. This is our database in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And just to show you how robust our database is, it allows you to search by price, type of home, the style of home, does it have a basement apartment, how old the home is, how big the home is, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, central air, if it has central air, in-ground pool, indoor pool, if it's heated by gas or electric, uh, what type of garage it has. Just a small sample of all the different criteria that we can search by. And there's also added fields here too. A lot of different criteria. So we have so many more ways of filtering out the home that you want. So really, we got the best database out there for searching homes. And a lot of times we have exclusive listings. What are exclusive listings? These are listings that don't go on the MLS or the multiple listing service. That means it doesn't go onto the database, and the agents just kind of like network and share it amongst themselves. So you may never even heard about these listings. A house comes on sale, it's sold, and you don't even know about it if you're not with a good agent. And there's a lot of listings out there that don't have lawn signs. There are a lot of sellers, believe it or not, that don't want to notify their neighbors that they're selling a home for whatever reason. So there's some homes out there with no lawn signs. So if you're driving in a neighborhood and you don't see a lawn sign, you think it's not for sale? Maybe it is. And the only way you find out is if you're with a trustworthy agent. And also advertising. Probably only a small percentage of the homes get proper advertising. So if you're checking the newspaper, the flyers, uh, the local boards, whatever, where people pin up boards for a house for sale, you're missing out on probably 99% of the homes that are actually on the market for sale. And why do you want to access a larger selection of homes? Because it gives you more choice. It gives you more selections to choose from. Maybe the home that you like is not in the newspaper, right? So you're not going to see it. But with an agent, you're going to see the most available homes that meets your criteria. And the other thing is, you don't want to be looking at just any home. You could see a home advertised in a newspaper. It could have 3 bedrooms when you're looking for 4 bedrooms. Okay, it may have an unfinished basement when you're looking for a finished basement. It may have electric heating when you're looking for gas heating. So you can't filter those out with a newspaper. But with an agent, we can actually filter them out and give you a very short list of homes that meets your criteria. And that's really important. Uh, a trustworthy agent also has more knowledge about the neighborhood that you're buying into, and they may even know the history of the property that you're buying. Okay, let's just fix this. Okay. I'm in Canada, so neighborhood is spelled with a U. But if you're in the States, this is how you would spell neighborhood, okay? Agents can also do all the paperwork quickly, okay? There's a lot of paperwork involved, and if you didn't have an agent, would you be able to draw up the contract yourself and be confident at it? Or would you have to get a lawyer? Well, lawyers only work between Monday to Friday during lawyer hours, which is probably 9 to 5. So if you can't get an offer done up by a lawyer, you're going to miss out on some opportunities. And also, the lawyers uh, charge you for that service. It's not free, okay? Whereas the agents can do all the proper paperwork for you. They're trained to do that. They're licensed to do that, okay? In fact, I can tell you right now, in my 29 years experience, there are things that I know about real estate law that even some lawyers don't know, because not every lawyer specializes in real estate. Some of them do divorces, some of them do litigation, they do corporate law. So they're not specialized in real estate, whereas a real estate agent is specialized in real estate. So we know our contracts very well, all right? So agents can do all the paperwork quickly. Why is quickly important? Because sometimes a house is on the market and it's sold very quickly. So if you don't get your offer in there on a house that you really like, you're going to miss out, okay? And good properties, they tend to sell fast in a good market, all right? And I know that many times I was one of the first agents to have an offer in there, and we actually got my buyers bought the property before any other offers were entertained. All right, and they wouldn't have been able to do that had they not come to me and used my services. A good agent can also help you with one-stop shop. They can help you get the best legal advice, because we deal with so many lawyers. I can tell you, I got about 15, 16, maybe 20 lawyers that I know, okay? And over the years, I've kind of narrowed them down to the ones that I think are the most competent. And if you ask me to help you select a lawyer, I would probably give you 2 or 3 names of the best of the 20. That's how I work, okay? Mortgage advice, same thing. I mean, on top of the fact that I know mortgages myself and used to be a mortgage broker myself, I have also connections with really top-notch mortgage brokers. They know how to get the job done and know how to package it so that you're not going to get turned down, okay? They will actually know that you're going to get turned down before they even submit it. So by the time they put it together and submit it, excuse me, your chances of getting a mortgage is probably about 99% assured once the mortgage broker gets through with it. Home inspection, okay? Not all home inspectors are created equal. There are a lot of home inspectors out there that they don't even qualify to be a home inspector, and yet they're doing home inspections, okay? So if you're looking for a good home inspector, you need someone that knows what they're doing, someone that has a good grasp of what the different things that can be wrong with a home. Of course, they all, look at the 5 major components: the roofing, the structure, the electrical, the plumbing, and that type of thing. But they look at the 5 major components. Okay, I know I only named you 4. I can't remember the 5th offhand, to be honest with you right now. But anyway, so after the 5 components are looked at, then they start fine-tuning to find out, for instance, does it have asbestos? Does it have knob and tube wiring? Does it have double tapping on the electrical box, etc., etc.? There's so many things. Does it have termites? Does it have urea formaldehyde foam insulation? There's so many things that you need to know when you're purchasing a home, so you don't get into a home that's a money pit, okay? So all this advice is given to you if you have a good agent to help you out. Also, agents can access the sold prices, which means they can help you from overpaying for a property. And more importantly, they're also accountable if they misrepresent to you any facts. In fact, agents are very liable for a lot of things, okay? I know agents in the past that has misquoted square footages. They would say the house is 3,500 square feet when it's only 3,000 square feet. Well, they're liable for that. Okay, that type of information is libelous. And whereas if a seller sold you were trying to buy it privately, and they said 3,500 square feet, it's up to you to prove that that seller misrepresented you, and it's very difficult in that situation. But okay, let's talk about the sold prices. Okay, let me just pull up the listings here and just show you very quickly. So, if I was to pull this up, I don't want all these other, they're pretty far out in the vacant lands. Let's just fine tune it and say we only want detached properties. Okay. So let's say I pull any one of these up. Okay. And they don't have to be really anywhere in particular, but let's say I pull this one up here. 139,000. Wow. Okay. Is that a good price? I don't know. Do you know? Okay, let's take another look. Take a look at another one. Okay, let's go a little bit higher up. Let's say this one here, um, for 209. That sounds like a pretty good price, right? You know, it looks pretty nice inside. Okay, is that a good price? Do you know? You know what I find? I find that there's an arrogance out there that people think they know more than real estate agents. Okay, you know, let me ask you a question. I don't know what kind of work that you work at, but if you've been working there for 5, 10 years, okay, can someone part time? Can I come into your workplace part time and be as good as you and know as much as you at your job? I didn't think so. Okay, I've been doing this for 29 years, and I doubt there are too many people out there that can come into this field, even with a little bit of experience, that know as much as I do about real estate. And I challenge you on that. Okay, so when I pull these up and say 209, okay, all right, there's always somebody in the family who says, "Oh, that's too much. That's too high." How do you know? How do you know that's too high, right? What we can but we can know, we can determine that based on our experience, and also we have what we call sold listings. For instance, if I was to go in here and just show you some of the detached solds, okay. Now, once again, of course, we would fine tune it to the neighborhood and the streets and the in the area, but just to give you an idea, okay. This may take a little time to load, but just to give you an idea, we have all this sold information available to us. So at any time, we can compare the house that you're buying to the neighborhood to see whether 209 is a good price. Maybe 209 is overpriced. Maybe all the other houses are selling for 150, or maybe 209 is a great price because the neighborhood is selling for about 300. We don't know that, or you don't know that, I should say. But we, as good realtors, will know that, okay, just by doing a search. Okay, it's got too many searches in there, so I have to dumb it down a little bit. Let's say 299,000 is the maximum price we want. Let's see if I could make it come in faster. Okay, this is done live, so I have no control over the internet time and all that. But let's give it a shot to give it a chance to come in. It is searching right now, and meanwhile, let's see if I can cover some other topics while we go. As we go, so they're completely liable for misrepresentation. So if an agent tells you something that's not true, you can definitely sue them for misrepresentation. And here's the other thing too. As an agent for a buyer, let's say you're buying a home, okay? In most cases, I would say 99.999% of the time, the commission's paid by the seller upon a successful transaction. In other words, when the seller puts a house on the market, they say, okay, I will pay this much commission for you to sell the property, okay, to that agent, to what we call the listing agent, okay. The listing agent then will put it up onto the MLS and put advertising out to try and sell it, okay. So in the agreement also is that if the agent cooperates with another agent, a buyer's agent, they will split that commission with the buyer's agent. All right, and in our area, it's usually 2.5% to the buyer's agent. So we get paid 2.5% for helping the seller find a buyer. That's how it works. Okay, so the seller is paying for all the commission. Okay, in other words, they pay, but they only paid if the house is sold. So if the house is not sold, they pay nothing at all. So it's really a partnership. It's not like the real estate goes in and says, "Look, I'll charge you $1,000 whether it's sold or not." Okay, right? It doesn't work that way. It's like we charge you 5% or whatever the percentage is. 5% is the norm. 5-6% is the norm. If we charge you 5% to sell the home, and only charge you the 5% if we sell the home, and only from the proceeds of the sale. Okay, so you as a buyer is not responsible for paying any commission. So virtually, that means you're getting free service. Free service. So why would you not take advantage of the free service? Agent service is free of charge to you, okay? And you can take advantage of their knowledge, their experience. They can help you with the largest purchase in your life. Okay, so find a good agent to help you find and negotiate for you. That's the other thing too, negotiating. Okay, a lot of people are terrible at negotiating. Okay, and if you were standing there in front of a seller and the seller says, "I want $299," and you says, "Well, I can offer you $200," and the seller says, "Sorry, not interested." What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? So, you know, whereas when we negotiate for you, you're never there. We negotiate on your behalf, okay? And we know a lot about negotiating techniques that to help you get the price that you want. Okay, for instance, look at these prices. Here's one for $152.9. It's sold for $140. Now, would you even have the nerve to offer $140 to the seller? Maybe not, right? But whoever the agent is in this case felt that $140 was a fair market value. Why? Because they probably did the research into the neighborhood. Said, you know what, you're asking $152, but the real market value is around $140, and provide proof of that. And because of that, that agent was able to get this house for this buyer for what, $12,900, $13,000 less than the asking price. Okay, and I can go on and on. Here's $154.9, so $138. Okay, so that's the power, and having the knowledge to know what is sold for, what the neighborhood sold for, is powerful. Okay, here's one at $150, so for $135. Okay, it's powerful. So how do you know that? You could look at this house and say, well, $150, that looks like a decent house for $150. I should probably just pay $148. All right, and if you did, this is $150. It's a house. Not the best house in the world, but for $150, what do you expect in where I live? So $135. That's like $25,000 cheaper. Okay, you might have paid $149, $148. All right. So having a good agent could have saved you $20,000 to $25,000. That's huge. Anyways, I'm not going to dwell on that. But anyways, my advice to you is find a good agent, a trustworthy agent, okay, to help you find and negotiate for you. All right? Don't do it on your own. You're going to make a mistake. You know what? Let me finish by saying this, okay? I had a client that come to me, and before he met me, he had already purchased a home through a seller, okay? And what they did was they did what they call we call it Oklahoma, which is like make the price higher so that he can get a higher mortgage. And basically, virtually by the end of the day, he'd be coming up with virtually no down payment because the mortgage amount was the actual selling amount. Okay, so he came to me all agitated because this seller called him up and says, "Look, I want $10,000, or I'm going to expose this to the fraud squad." Okay, now what they did together was fraudulent. Okay, and my client had a lot to lose. He had a reputation and everything else, had a lot to lose. Okay, so because of that, he asked me for my advice. Okay, and how to get out of it. Okay, I won't go into details how I got him out of it, but I managed to get him out of that situation and saved him that additional $10,000 that he was basically being blackmailed. So you can get into these situations. I advise you wholeheartedly to hire a good agent to help you buy a home. That's it for this episode, and we'll see you on the next one, and peace out.